My earbuds aren't working. It's just coming through the phone.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay.
As long as it's not echoing.
Yeah, I'm in the car right now, so should be fine. How you guys do? So now, right now, it's like 7:50 over there.
Yeah, 7:52.
Damn it, my bad, brother. I thought you guys were like more Midwest, and I just remember that Chris was saying that you guys are in Virginia or Eastern Virginia or Western Virginia.
Yeah.
So I get those time zones mixed up, brother. If you're not in New York or Florida,
yeah, we're in New York time zone.
I'm thinking you're over by Kansas.
Yeah.
Right on. How's Miss Dina doing over there?
She's doing good. She's feeding a puppy right now.
Gotcha, right on. Tell her I said hello.
Do our little countdown here. People time to get on. We used to start it up and just go straight at it, right? And then, like, people would miss the first, 5 minutes because they didn't get notifications that we were on.
Gotcha. Well, shit, I missed the first 50 minutes, so.
All good.
Warning, if you're faint of heart or easily offended, this show is not for you.
I don't give a damn about what you saying, bitch, you in the way. Closed case, my nigga beat the charges like yesterday. In your face, I'ma go hard and make sure you see the cake. Keep the pace, ain't no one fucking with me, this not a race. Doing the shit that I want, I'm never gonna stop, I'm never gonna give in. Making my way to the top, I told you to ride, I told you to get in. Now you can't eat out my pot, it's filled to the top, and I'm about to dig in. You say I was doing you wrong.
Welcome to the Go Rogue Podcast. Here this evening with John Certeza. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, brother, man. How you doing?
Oh, can't complain. Let me get in a chat.
Go.
Make sure everybody is in here. So you're at a ball game. You had a practice, you say?
Yeah, one of my boys. One of the kids got soccer practice right now, so I figure this is like one of the better times that I'm not really doing anything. I usually like taking them so I can go to sleep for an hour and a half,
Right.
I cheat, Kira thinks that I'm over here watching whatever, but yeah, I just busted myself out.
Nice. So we got some people in. So for people that may not know you, tell us a little bit about you, how you got into dogs. And
well, I think like most of us that are into the bullies, I've been a dog lover all my life. So, and most of us that are into the bullies, I think most of us started in the pit bulls. That was like my area. I started, it wasn't with game dogs. It was just more or less just, a homeboy just to hang out with. And then people just like having them, walking around the streets, whatever, and, have their dog with them. Especially, no one messed with you if you had a pit bull. You know what I mean? Where I grew up, people love to mess with you. So yeah, they were like protection and, just a good friend, one that they don't argue with you like some of your other friends and whatnot. But yeah, I've always had a love for dogs, and especially like the bully breeds.
Mm-hmm.
I started my journey with the American Bully. Oh gosh, man, the early 2000s, late 90s. They weren't even American Bully yet, so
right.
they were more of a bully pit bull, was what we used to call them. But I had a buddy, and he had this crazy looking 130-pound pit bull. Hey Dina, how you doing? And it was, I was just amazed, man. Like that thing was blue, and blue back in the day was like a color,
Right.
it was like lilac. It was like, like, so it was like chocolate, and then we had red dogs, chocolate dogs back then, but, blue was just this like color that was a rare color. So I saw that dog and I immediately fell in love because, man's man don't like a buff looking, dog, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what it was. And I asked him where he got it from. He's like, yeah, I bought him from this guy. I was like, how much you pay for him? And I was like, holy moly, man. Like, you spent $1,500 on a dog? Like, bro, we can go down to the pound and grab one for $80 right now, And he was like, yeah, but do they look like this? And I was like, yeah, no, they don't look like Scooby-Doo. So yeah, man. He was like, yeah, it's Razor's Edge, gaudy line, gray line. And I was like, well, man, I like it. I don't know what that is, but I like it, He started throwing all these names out there, and I was like, yeah, man, I need to get me a dog from him. So as soon as you have a litter off of him, he was like, well, we just had a litter, but all of the dogs, they're just staying within the the kennel, my kennel. And I was like, all right, well, what's your kennel? And he was like, well, I don't know yet, but we're going to have one soon. We got to make one. So at that time, I was like, well, shit, man, I'd like to get the next one. And I wouldn't mind being in your kennel. And this was Cutthroat. It ended up becoming Cutthroat. So it was myself, Lauren, a guy named Jason, a couple other guys. This was like the early 2000s, and that first litter that he had that he was telling me about was Corrupt's litter. So this was a while back. This is over 20 years, probably about 20 years ago. But that's pretty much where I started, man. Just like at the very, very beginning, before American Bullies, before ABKC, Razor's Edge was around for a little while. Guiding Line just really started coming out. Gray Line had been around for a bit. So yeah, man. I mean, that's basically where we started.
So back then, I mean, they weren't quite called an American Bully yet, but what made that dog distinctive versus the pit bull at that point?
The bigger bone, bigger head, more mass. That's how you knew it was a bully pit bull versus a pit bull, right? I mean, we were used to. I know you guys over on the East Coast had a lot of those gamier style dogs like Kobe's and all that, right? Jeeps and all that. We had more, I want to say, of the show rings type conformation pit bulls, right? Like what is that? Gaff, Sierra Nevada dog, bloodlines, all that type of stuff. So as soon as you pulled up with a dog with at that time, 24-inch head was pretty big. That was a solid head. 23, 24 was a big head. And bone as thick as your wrist, like, yeah, that was a bully pit bull.
Right.
And then the ABKC came around and stamped a breed name on it, and here we are today with the American Bully Kennel Club, and it's rolling. A lot of people like to say that the club or the registry is falling off and this and that, but I mean, you say American Bully, you think ABKC. That's just my thought. I've spoke to people and that aren't really into the American Bully and dogs the way we are, and oh yeah, I heard about this registry, ABKC, and they do those Frenchies and American Bullies, and well, they didn't say American, they would say bullies. A lot of people say bullies, right? A lot of people like to, I'm in California, so we have exotic bullies and micro bullies and nano bullies and all these different bullies, and I'm just like, I'm like, man, slow down, man. And a lot of these people that are doing all this stuff is like people that I used to, they're like my buddies from back in the day. A couple of them are some of my old kennel mates, There's you know they a lot of them have some pretty nice exotic dogs, but you know they're functional. You know, they can run, they can play, they breathe fine. For a exotic bully or a smaller dog with a no muzzle, and you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
it's funny. You know, when I first got into it, started doing my homework. I ran across some videos that they were putting online for ABKC, and one of the things he was talking about is there's a lot of dogs that fly under the American Bully flag, but they're not necessarily American Bullies to the registry. And then when I ran across that, what that put me in the mind of is, okay, here's a set of rules and basically a framework for us to go by, you know, and our goal was to make that dog fit that framework. So to me, it was unquestionable. I was like, it was an important factor, you know, as far as building the dog goes, was to paying attention to what the registry was looking for.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have standards, we have written standards, so
yep.
You know, and one of the things that you know, I noticed, because I am in California, and there are a lot of big breeders of exotics and micros around this area, is that they're like, well, man, you know, we have nice dogs, and I see them, I'm like, yeah, man, like they're you know, they're nice dogs, but you know, they don't fit our standards, you know. So I mean, it's you just I don't know what to tell you, man. It's not an American Bully. So stick with exotic, you know, stick with exotic bully, micro bully, nano bully. I believe there is a registry out there that kind of put a brand on those dogs and made them their own breed or whatnot, you know, which I've been yelling it for years. Like, why don't you guys write up a set of standards? You know, get all your F1s and all your stuff, you know, health tested, make sure everything is everything, and it's a companion breed. It's an exotic, you know, breed or whatnot. And make your own breed. Come over to a registry and make a breed, and then no one could get upset. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what the ABKC did. Right. You know, we would show up to UKC dog shows, and you know, it's like, oh, this is blasphemy, right? Like, you know, what are you guys doing here? Call the cops. Whoa, the gangsters are here, the drug dealers are here, whatever. And we just wanted to, you know, show off our dog and see everyone else, right? So I've been yelling that for years to all these guys out here in Cali. Like, I mean, if you guys are really serious about it, like put your minds together and come up with something, you know, then no one can say anything.
Yeah. I think
by
the time I got into it, the exotic American Bully wasn't called that anymore. They had dropped the American Bully. They were just called exotics at that point.
Exotic. Yeah.
So I came in late to all that. That was all sorted out by the time I came in. But
yeah, that got sorted out, what, like 10, 12 years ago, something like that. Somewhere around there.
Kind of split out. And yeah, so now, you know, still within our community, though, you know, we have the kind of dogs that are high in demand on Facebook. And typically these are dogs that are like extremely overdone, and, you know, they probably have some flaws that wouldn't make them necessarily attractive to the show ring. But those are really the ones that make a lot of noise on the internet, you know. And then we still have a huge amount of dogs that are just under the target, you know, and people are trying to breed up and catch up. So, you know, our breed's still got a ways to go, but I feel like, and that's what I'm wondering to ask you about, over the years, has it been a slow progression, or have you seen like big jumps and changes in the breed during certain periods?
I feel like in the community, it's been a you know, like a fast forward, right? But as far as like the breed itself, it's like taking strides, and there's some things that are questionable that have been done or are being done. I don't know what's right, what's wrong. But as far as our breed itself, I think that we're on the right track because I mean the breed's been around for 20 years, plus or minus, right? Give or take 20 years. And we do have a lot of our dogs do look very, very similar, right? You know, there are classics that just don't fit the bill, right? They just should not be considered an American bully. I hate saying that, but if those dogs are being bred still, like we're just going backwards on that part, you know.
Right.
I think the more extreme, overdone dog is what we would need as tools, you know. And then not classic but standard dogs to clean it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people think, oh, let me go to this, let me take this overdone, you know, male and breed this to my classic dog. I mean, you're gonna get mediocre stuff, right?
Right.
Something just a little bit better than that classic. I think that people have to understand, like you've got to use those overdone extreme dogs to your standards, right? Yeah. To make something cleaner that's extreme,
right,
and overdone, because that's what the American bully, you know, that's what I had envisioned and what I envision still when I hear American bully, right? I mean, you've got your dog. I love your dog, man. Or Dina's dog. Let me say Dina's dog, right? Seven is a badass boy, you know, like, and he'd be a great tool. I feel he'd be a great tool for a lot of people. I just think that I don't know that as far as like for the conformation show ring, people are doing, you know, breeding the right way.
Right.
You know, like you have those people that are breeding because they want to make bigger, you know, more massive dogs, and that's totally fine because that's what the American bully was supposed to be, extreme. We're trying to do the extreme, right? But as far as like the conformation show people and the ones that are, you know, super into it, they're breeding like classic standard females,
right,
to a standard male, right? That's kind of, you know, it could be considered classic still too.
Right.
You're not going to get, you know, that American bully that you're trying to get, right? Exactly. Like there's just, it's always been extreme. It's always like I started in American bullies and my stuff is extreme back in the day. It's nothing compared to y'all stuff, right? But back in the day, like my stuff was extreme, and you know, we'd get looks like we took them to dog shows, and you know, people look at our dogs like, "What the hell is that?" You know. But those extreme dogs are needed to bring in, you know, that bone, that mass, that huge head, that thick rear. You know what I mean? That muscle, that girth. I feel like what we need to do is just continue to breed to a more extreme dog.
Right.
There might be some people that are going to kill me for it, you know what I mean? But I would rather breed to a more extreme dog that does have a few, you know, flaws over a perfect, you know, show dog.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. I mean, I breed to better, you know, I'm breeding to get something better. I'm not breeding to make exactly what that dog, you know, the stud that I use. Right. I'm trying to make a better dog than the stud that I used. So, you know, I think if we could do that, like we could get there even faster. But I feel like, for your question, I feel like the American bully is on the right path. There's a lot of, like, the community isn't really, honestly. Right. It's the community. It's the division, you know. We have this registry, that registry, and you know, people have different visions or whatnot. But I feel like the actual breed itself, that we're fast tracked already. Like we've already became a brand and a vision, whereas like it's taken German Shepherds that are still evolving, right?
Yeah, I think they took a wrong turn there.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say nothing because that's my wife's breed right there, man.
Yeah.
If I say something wrong, I'm gonna be sleeping on the couch tonight, and I'm not. Yeah, no, I don't sleep on the couch. My back is bad and all that. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I could even say, even the French Bulldog, like these. I mean, the breeds are always going to be evolving, but as far as branding, this dog, this breed, like it's already done. We already know what American Bully is. Even the people with the classic dog, they still want a dog like Zero, Blue, even Hangman, Seven, I can go on, Zeus, Waffle House, whatever, Tiny. All these dogs, they're all nice dogs, and they're all American Bullies. You look at them, you're gonna say American Bully, right? But you can't take that stud and breed it to a classic dog and make the same dog, right? It's just not gonna happen. You got to do it, to a more extreme dog than a classic. It's just you can't breed to a classic and expect to get a standard American Bully. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Evan brought up here in the comments, he said they believe there's two completely different audiences, the conformation show breeders and the overdone extreme breeders. And in a lot of ways it's true, but that is in part the problem, right? Is we need to get those two communities to meld together and say, okay, you breed for the extreme, I breed for the correct. We need to put those together, create a dog that attracts the community for its extremeness, but also attracts the show people for its correctness. And right now we have all those tools that we need. They're on both sides of the fence. We have all those tools. It's just getting the show people and the people outside the show ring to do the overdone stuff to kind of meld together.
That's exactly it, man. It's getting the community to come together, which, I mean, that's a hard thing to do, right? Yeah. Getting different groups to think alike. It's pretty hard to do, man. Like I've told this story, and this is a really good story, man. This is really what made me fall in love with the breed and the community, right? I wish that this was the way we could do it, but this story is about a dog show. It was actually not a dog show. We didn't have dog shows yet. ABKC wasn't around yet. It was a get together, a bully barbecue. So we had this bully barbecue, and it was in Visalia, I think, somewhere in Central Cali. And so there was guys, there was guys coming from Southern Cali. There was guys coming from Northern Cali. There were some people that came from Oregon and the surrounding states. We had this barbecue, bro, and I was walking to the bathroom, and I noticed this group of guys, and they were all Mexicans, Latin. The problem was that there was some that were wearing blue and there was some that was wearing red. And so if you're from Cali, and the whole northern and southern thing is a really big thing, I was like, bro, we got to get out of here. It's gonna go down, right? It's about to go down. And man, I continued walking to the bathroom, and they're sitting there like laughing, talking, taking pictures of each other's dogs, bro. It was the craziest thing, because I'm usually used to seeing them shooting at each other and stabbing each other. You know what I'm saying? So the power of these dogs, right, of this breed itself is strong. And I think that one day we'll get there. I think that we're still, we're still working towards that, but I tell that story all the time, man. Like that's really what made me fall in love with this breed is how it could bring, people from all walks of life into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've got friends that are doctors and nurses, and I have some questionable friends, saying that, you really wouldn't want to hang out with. You never know, right? But it's just the power of this breed itself. It's really strong. So I know that at some point we'll be able to get there. It's just a matter of when, and I think that it's still early. It's still early in this breed. 20 years, I wish I could have been there in the beginning of a different breeds era, like see how it was, what they did, how much they disagreed about, and you know what I mean? Because I would be like, man, that's totally the same thing that we go through.
Right.
Oh, for like
sure.
say like the Yorkies, right? Like when they first started that breed, like how was it, right? Like, I mean, did they argue about how silky their coat should be, or should it even have a long coat, or you know what I mean? Should they be a little 12-pound dog? Should they be a 30-pound dog? Like, how did they argue about it? Were there breedings done, that made you raise the eyebrow? We don't know, but I'm sure there probably was,
Right.
So
yeah, for sure.
I just believe it's still young. We're still a young breed. Yes, we've taken strides, and I feel like everything has been going in a positive direction as far as the breed itself. As far for people, I can't tell you, man. Like, I try to be cool with everyone, like all the other registries that are out there. I know a lot of the, owners and presidents and whatever personally, on a personal level, and I'm still cool with them.
Right.
But I'm one of those old school gangsters, man. Like, I've been in the same gang since I was 12. But it's never gonna stop. I've been ABKC since it started. So,
right.
That's where my loyalty is, right? But I still have friends that are involved with all the other registries, and that's fine, because as long as you're promoting the American Bully, I can't get mad,
Exactly.
But I feel like once we can get the different groups together, then we could really show the world, what this breed is about and how powerful and strong this breed is.
Oh, absolutely. And it's, and that's one of the things, like one of the reasons I kind of learned that early on. I got mixed up with the right people, you could say, and they were like, no, you need this. You need this big, massive dog. You need this, and just kind of preach that to me. And it took me a minute to put 2 and 2 together. And I was like, oh, okay, I see, And then, we start the podcast and we bring Dave Wilson on, and he says, you have to use these extreme dogs. You have to use extreme dogs. We bring, Chris on last week, and you have to use these extreme dogs. It's like every judge I bring on, they're saying, use the extreme dog. The whole litter is not going to be what you want, but you're looking for that target dog, pet home the rest, and then just keep progressing. And they all preach the same thing.
Yeah.
But hold on just a second.
Can you tell John I said huge congratulations on being chosen as the National Speed Dog?
Hold on just a second here. Wife came in, No, I'm not doing a podcast.
I know you guys muted, and then you guys were talking about me, and
I'm like, yeah, just come on in, whatever. I can't even remember. Oh no, well, when everyone I talk to, as far as the registry is concerned, says the exact same thing. You have the tools you need. That big ass, crazy overdone dog is exactly what you need, and because it helps progress the breed. We can't be satisfied with what we currently have. At some point, I don't know when it'll be. It'll probably be 100 years from now. We don't know. But at some point, the registry might say, you know what? I think we're good. Like, let's this is it. We need to maintain. We don't need to add anymore. But I remember seeing people in the comments on posts, and they're just like, when is it enough? When is it enough? And when I hear that see that statement online, when I see that, when is it enough, I can always go look in their profile, and I don't even have to see their dogs. I know what their dog looks like. That comment, that the certain dog type says that comment,
it just solidifies, what you already know, right?
Yep, exactly. So, but I sat down at a show. I think it was one of the Jacksonville shows. But I sat down with a lady, and she came up to me and she was like, "Look, I watch your podcast, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm not making any progression. Like I can't get my dogs to this size." And she's talking to me about her breedings, and I just happened to turn around, and behind me, under the table, Zero is laying, and I was like, well, why don't you breed to that dog? And you could tell, like, it never even crossed her mind, or like she didn't even consider it to that point.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's what you need to breed to. If you need to push your dog up another level, you need to breed to that dog. That's what helps.
Yeah.
The blues and the zeros and, all these big dogs. And sometimes really dogs that are outside the ring. And that's the other thing that people, I think, have a hard time understanding, is my kennel is not full of show dogs. My kennel is full of tools that
you have a bunch of good tools over there, man. Yeah.
That help me create what I want to bring to the show ring. Just because, just because I have a bunch of dogs doesn't mean that they're the finished product. They're the tools I need to build the finished product, in my opinion. But I still bring dogs to the ring. I still champ them out, because I feel that there's value to the registry to tell me or confirm with me, yes, this is the direction you need.
That you're doing good. You're on the right path.
Exactly.
As far as your program goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, and I'd like to add, like, you should bring, your dogs out, so you're not keeping them away from, everyone else that needs to use your dog, right? There's bro, I walk into a dog show sometimes, and I'll probably see, 45-50%, of the dogs there need a 7. You know what I mean? They need, that bigger, more massive, big head, big muscle. Like, they need that, and if you don't, luckily you bring your dogs out, right? But if you don't, then people will never know where to go to find them, right? So it's a good, I like that you do bring your dogs out and you do put them in the ring to compete, because then it shows the the rest of the community, like, hey, I've got a tool right here, and he can compete with the best of them, right. Which is good. Because a lot of times, a lot of the community, they come in to this, and then it's all about the show ring and correctness, and then they get that mixed up with, oh, my dog needs it structurally correct, and so now they're looking at it as more of a I don't know how do I explain it without sounding stupid. Like a slender, athletic type of dog,
right?
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because those look good. That they look like they're right when they're not. So
or another breed.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not a Amstaff. You know what I mean? So yeah, they just get confused. A lot of people get confused. But now, bro, like with your dog, there's dogs, there's plenty of dogs out there that do carry good mass, good bone, big head, that are all like the top dogs, in the registry.
Right.
So if you look at, the top dogs in the registry, they all pretty much look very, very similar.
Yeah.
So
I was going to ask you about that, is, as of late, or say the last few years, are we starting to see more dogs come to the show ring that represent a closer version of what we believe, like the mass and the bone should be on the dog, that we for our current day. You know what I mean? I feel like I see more people that are posting their championship paperwork, and that's a dog that I look at and be like, okay, that's an American Bully. Like, I give them that. Sure, they could add a little bit, but for the most part, it's looking like
you see the dog that's an American Bully. Like yeah, I would definitely breed that dog to an extreme dog, right? But yeah, no, I think that as far as like where the breed stands, I think that we're there. Yeah, of course you could always have more in this and that, more of this and that, but that's what the American Bully is about, is being extreme, right? So I also feel that a lot of people, you know, are like, you know, there's voices out there that are telling us, oh, we need more, we need more, we need more. Like, yeah, you know, we'll get there, you know.
There's a question.
But the thing is that when you look at all the top dogs, they all look very, very similar. They all have good bone. They all have, you know, good mass, nice big blocky heads, and, you know, thick, you know, rear end muscles, and it just they look like American Bullies. So I feel like we're on the right path, and we could always have a little bit more. You know what I mean? I just want a little bit more. That's just what it's all about. That's what the American Bully is it's going to the extreme, you know, without going over.
Right. Now, there's a question in the comments, but the way he worded it, I don't want to be controversial. So I'm going to try to reword it in a way that wouldn't necessarily be as controversial. But basically, what he's saying is, well, I'll use my dog because he mentions my dog. So basically, he's saying, if a dog, how can a dog like Seven and another dog, some other dogs, be in the ring together? And, you know, how, I guess that's basically what he's saying is, as a judge, how are you making it? How can you make a decision if you say a dog like Seven is like what the dog should look like, mass and bone and size wise, you know what I mean? With other dogs in a ring at the same time that maybe are more structurally correct and move better or whatever, you know, how do you juggle that? Like, because to him, he's saying like, well, if you make Seven the standard of the standard and say this is what the standard should look like, wouldn't that force everyone to just shoot for that target?
So that's one of those hard answers, but I'll answer that, you know, as best as I can. We have a standard, and our standard is pretty vague. If you really read it, you know, it's pretty vague, but it does capitalize on extreme, right? It does capitalize on more bone, you know, more mass, like that. That's what our standard, you know, really capitalizes on. So to like say like when you have Seven and, you know, another American Bully in the ring, how do you don't, you know, fault judge is I guess what he's trying to say, or somebody's trying, I don't know.
Yeah.
There like, I'm gonna say this. For me, I like Seven because he is massive. He's got big bone. And he's still a good mover. He's got a big old head. And then I'll tell you that for me, he's just a little long. And he's a little straighter in the stifles in the rear that creates him to have like a little bit of a higher rear.
Right.
But as far as like him being a tool, like, I think he's a great freaking tool. I think he would do better for more yards than you know, a lot of the top dogs that are right now that are top dogs. And that's because we still have a lot of females that are lacking out there that are being bred.
Yeah.
You don't really see too many females that look like males.
Right.
You know, a lot of our females lack substance, bone, you know, and we need a dog like Seven to really be able to get there.
Right.
And then you could clean up things, you know, that you might have to. a lot of people don't know that. Like my stuff back in the day, all my stuff back, I had long dogs with high rears also. Like the stifles on my dogs were like, a wooden peg. So, but like my dogs were bully, like they had that bully blocky head. They had that wide chest, them big old shoulders, and that's what appealed to everyone, and that's what appeals to a lot of people that are even talking about that.
Right.
A lot of people that are sitting there like, oh, how could you do this? How could you do that? Like, bro, you like this breed because you saw this dog at one point in time and was like, dang, what is that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it is a hard question. I mean, luckily for me, I haven't had to go in the ring with Seven and any other dogs. You know what I mean? So I really don't know. I don't know, how you would go about and judging that lineup. That would be that would actually, honestly, like I wouldn't mind judging that lineup, because I always like to test myself. Right.
Yeah. And we've seen it several times, and you get to know judges and you get to know the style that they prefer, right? Mm-hmm. And you get to see ones that elevate type overall, and then we see ones that elevate structural correctness overall. And I always pitch that to Dave when I talk to him. I'm like, why are we so imbalanced in that method? And his kind of response to that was, we need both of those. But what ultimately we need to build a dog that is attractive to both of those judges. So the judge that elevates breed type will pick that dog, and the judge that elevates structure will also pick that dog. Like, that's our goal. But right now we have to have both. So that judge that elevates breed type over, a flaw is necessary, because he has to keep that style of dog in the ring, and then vice versa. The one that, is focusing strictly on structure, we need him to keep keeping those structurally correct dogs in the ring. So it's conflicting, because it sends a confusing message when people are like, oh, well, that dog won and he's not really overdone. So maybe they really want those overdone dogs.
Yeah. I mean, he's not lying, like we definitely, we have to have both to make the one, right? And it takes time to really stamp down, that breed. It's going to still take us some more time, to get there, because now we have dogs that are massive with big bone, and there's like, I mean, a high rear, that with angulation, it isn't like a super big issue for me. You know what I mean? Like, in the high rears of today aren't nothing like the high rears of 20 years ago,
Right.
Man, I had a dog, and it was like a water slide at an amusement park, bro. Like his rump was way up there, almost the same height as his head. But he was just so massive in his front end. His head was so crazy that everyone just didn't really even care about what his rear end looked like or how long he was,
Exactly.
So, but we need both. We need both style of dogs, because that's what we have, and we got to at one point get to where we have one that carries both traits, right? And the registry needs both style judges, to keep both styles relevant.
Right.
I guess that's how I would word it, to keep the more more well-structured dog relevant, and then also to keep the dog that carries more of the extreme relevant,
Yeah, and I think, recently they started moving toward, I've seen them start moving toward bringing those more extreme overdone dogs back in via the stack off stage. You know what I mean? It's for sure
that right there is to help bring those dogs that we know that are out there,
right,
that can compete in the ring, but a lot of those breeders or owners, they're either not into it, or they're just they're upset about 12 years ago. You know what I mean? How the ring was ran 12 years ago. You know, like I really wish that, you know, these people with these dogs would bring these beasts out, you know, more often. So then the other side of the community could see like, hey, this is an extreme dog, but it's still a very functional dog.
Right.
You know, and it's still competitive and it can still do this and that the same way your dog can. Hey, our dogs, we don't have working dogs. You know what I mean? We don't have hurt. Our dogs don't hurt anything. Our dogs aren't bird dogs. They're not sight dogs. They're nothing like that. Our dogs are companion breed.
Yep.
So you know, to sit there and say, oh well, it needs to be able to, you know, go around the ring, you know, 3 or 4 times. Like, yeah, it should, but 10 or 15, like, why? For what? That's not what the dog is bred for, right? Yeah. That dog is bred to look badass while you're walking down the street with it. That's what that dog's bred for, right? So, you know, but if we could get those, show people to realize that our more extreme dogs are actually very functional and can play and run.
Right.
You know, I think, because I think I've seen a few videos where you guys had a couple of your dogs, you know, running around playing fetch or whatever.
Oh yeah,
I'm not sure, but there's still a big part of the community that believe that they can't, and that they'll fall over after a couple of rounds around the yard.
Right.
You know, and we need to break that thought process, I guess you would say, because that's how my dogs work. My dogs, you know, they could run for days.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, I'll tell you a story, and it was a different registry. I was showing Machiavelli, and he was having a good day at this show. He was this one particular judge. Machiavelli's in the ring, and he's in with all the other dogs, and he sends all the dogs around the ring. All right, we go around the ring. We go. So everyone comes back. They line up. He sends them all around the ring again. I take Mac off around the ring again. All right. So third time, sends him around the ring again. Okay. At that point, I knew exactly what he was doing. I knew he was trying to prove a point. Because Mac had won every time he got in the ring up to that point. I knew exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to break Mac down, get him overheated, to try to prove why he wasn't going to give it to him. Right. Oh, well, see, that dog can't, you know, he's overdone and he can't, you know, run around the ring.
Yeah.
So at the fourth time, he literally wanted them to go around the ring the fourth time. I just stepped back, pulled my dog back, and told, go ahead. Because I knew at that point, I'm not. Yeah. You know, you have something preconceived in your mind.
Yeah.
You're trying to prove a point. So I'm just going to step back and you run the dogs around the ring all you want, because I'm not going to, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. I don't breed that dog to be able to run around the ring 7 times. It's just not what I breed him for.
Yeah.
So
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It kind of agitated me because I knew exactly what he was doing. And I knew, you know, it is what it is that day. The funny thing is, the next show, he goes in, wins his class, wins best pocket, and gets a best in show. So whatever, you know, no big deal.
Wow.
It's one of those things where
well, way to make that judge feel stupid, right?
But it was a wild day. But you know, it's that preconceived notion that he had, that he expected a level of performance out of the dog, and just by looking at the dog, he said, I can prove that this dog doesn't have the level of performance that I expect. And I think the hard part there is, you need to realize there is no level of performance that's expected from this breed. It's a companion breed. You know, within reason, take it out in the yard and throw ball for 10, 15 minutes or whatever, you know what I mean? But if you want a dog that's 80, 90 pounds, it's 14, 15 inches tall at that kind of weight, it's silly to assume that dog is going to be able to run outside 90-degree weather. It's just, that's not how it works. You imagine if I take a guy that's 5'3" and put 220 pounds of muscle on him, he's not going to the track and running around the track.
He's not going track and field. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hear you. It's ridiculous sometimes.
You are the ABKC Nationals judge for the bully this year.
Yes, sir.
Was that a surprise to you, or did they discuss it, and would they just call you up and say, "Hey, we want you to do it"?
I've actually known for a while,
and
it's kind of one of the reasons why, like, a lot of people, we have a dog that's doing pretty good and has been doing good pretty much since the beginning of the year, and people will be like, "Hey, I feel like I got him for nationals," and I'm like sitting there like, man, I wish, So I've known for a bit, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I've known for a bit. And it's one of the reasons why I haven't taken a whole lot of judging assignments this year too.
Right. Yeah, because I guess at that point, the dogs are still not dogs you've seen over and over again, right? So when you get there, because you haven't done a lot of judging this year, you're gonna have a fresh look at a lot of dogs that'll show up. That's I feel like that's a huge amount of pressure. Even last year, of course, there's always drama. I don't care what dog they choose. There's always drama. But, after last year, after Hangman won, there was a bunch of drama. Some people calling him classic, and some people, thought he was the perfect dog. And, it was just, but there's always going to be that. I don't care. Now, because you're judging, are you guys able to have the Shorty Bowl in the show?
No. I can't bring Blaze for nationals. So, like I said on my post, you are all welcome. Mm-hmm. I just took my wife out of the running, and I took my dog out of the running.
Oh, geez.
Y'all ain't got to worry about them.
Honestly, I'm not gonna
but I can still run him for top dog this year.
Okay. Because I'm not gonna lie, I had him winning nationals. I mean, honestly, I did. When I saw him in
man, I ain't gonna lie either, man. I was hoping it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I for sure. Remember the first time I saw him,
man, it's kind of wide open, man. There's a lot of nice dogs out there.
Yeah.
This year we don't have that one particular dog. That's we don't have a Zero or a Blue or a Samson or a Bear this year. You know what I mean? We have like 4 or 5 dogs that are all kind of fighting it out right now, and they're all very nice dogs, So we shall see, man. It's gonna be a lot harder show, for sure. It's pretty much wide open. I mean, we got a great multi-breed judge in Pablo. He's a great guy, very knowledgeable, and has been around a very long time also. Yeah. I feel like this year's Nationals is definitely going to be one for the books, man. It's going to be a great show.
I think so. And that's, a lot of people, I was blessed to be able to travel with Hannah and Jim and Zero and just kind of watch him do what he did. You know what I mean? And you could always tell, like, people had that, oh, Zero's here, shit. You know what I mean? They were like, they just thought Zero's going to win everything. So shit, now we're competing for second. For a few years it was like that, because you had the Samson, then you had the Blue, and then you had Zero, and then you had these dogs that were just super dominant, and then now we're in kind of an in-between stage where we don't have that super dominant dog right now.
I mean, so when you look at all the top dogs right now, most of the top dogs, they all are very similar as far as like their strengths. We do have We have like a classic, we have a standard, we have a pocket in there, and shit, we have a female, one or two actually, you know. So it's a pretty wide range of the American Bully, and man, it's gonna be a good show. It's gonna be a great, you know, great show to judge. I like these harder ones anyways. You know, I hate to go in there with a blue or a zero or a, you know what I mean, a Samson or whatnot, you know, or a bear, where they were the one, you know, that like they were gonna get it because they were the best dog in that ring, right? They were the top dog all year long. They were sweeping shows left and right internationally, and it was just that much easier when you had that dog in there, you know. And it didn't hurt that they were badass dogs either, right? So
exactly.
you know, you just can't, you know. It's gonna be a tough one this year, but it's wide open, and I'm just let everyone know right now, get them dogs ready, get them socialized, be ready for all them loud noises, because you know the best dog could turn into a protective dog because of all the screaming, you know what I mean?
Right.
And just bring your A game, man, because you know I'm definitely gonna be looking for it. I'm gonna be looking for it for sure.
Yeah, when it is tight, when you have a bunch of dogs that are very similar, that it comes down to stuff like that. It comes down to, is this dog able to deal with the amount of noise that's going on? Is he, is he overacting or reacting, where another dog is going to hold his stack, or he's going to move around the ring undistracted, he's going to perform the way he should. And I've definitely seen instances where I felt like there was a dog that was clearly superior, but he wouldn't perform. He wouldn't do what he was supposed to. They were going around the ring, and when they went past the exit, instead of going, or he tried to exit the stage, you know what I mean? Or whatever behavior. Out a judge or whatever, you know what I mean? So definitely, when it's very close like this, it's those environmental things that you have to desensitize your dog to, could be the one thing that puts your dog on top.
Yeah, man. I mean, it could be everything's so close. It could be, nails too long, it could be, coat not groomed, it could be, right. It could be anything really. So I just advise everyone, be ready, stay on top of it, and we're gonna have a nice, fair fucking show. Nationals it's the 20th anniversary Nationals, man. Like it don't get no better than this. Right. So we're definitely gonna have a good show. Definitely.
I always enjoy it.
It's been an honor. When I was asked months ago, I didn't put it together right away. I don't think anyone really realized it. And it was actually Kira that was like, isn't this year 20th anniversary? I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, you're going to judge the 20th anniversary Nationals. And I was like, well, when you put it like that, it's kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, no one could ever do it again. Right. So, it's a big honor, and I'm happy to do it, man. I can't wait. I really can't.
By the way, when Dina came in to interrupt me, she wanted me to congratulate you on being chose. I was like, I'll get to that point.
Jeez. Oh, thank you, Miss Dina. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So are you? So you are.
Everyone was like,
good.
Everyone was like calling me up. Oh man, congratulations! But what about Blaze? Like what happened? I feel like you got it in the bag. I'm like, man, he's still a pup. We'll come back next year. Yeah,
I think what was it, Kristen? Yeah, Kristen Yoder in there said the exact same thing. She said, no big deal. Blaze is young. He'll still be. There's plenty of time for him. So, for the 21st Nationals. He
Oh
can be.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but
Yeah, why not? We'll try. We'll go for it. We're gonna try.
Yeah, it's been a while since I can't remember the last time. Of course, I've haven't been a I think we're at like year 4 right now, but I really don't see that many shorty bowls on a regular basis, and very rarely do you see a shorty
Yeah.
bowl that can compete at that level, that can be put in the ring against bullies and still and take the prize. So
Yeah, it's super rare. I mean, the ABKC, it's the registry, it's the American Bully Registry, and we're lucky as far as like shorty bull people. We are lucky that they gave us a home also. But it definitely is hard to bring a shorty bull to duke it out with an American bully. It's super hard. And then you've got your old English bulldog. Then you've got your French bulldog. You got your English bulldog. You got American Pit Bull Terrier, and so it's definitely harder because not very many people know about the shorty bull, and they're not very many of them even like them. I've talked to a lot of people. They're like, man, I don't even like shorty bulls, but this dude right here, man, this is my guy. And I'm like, man, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm just glad. I'm happy to help support this breed and get more people interested.
yeah.
It's been a while since a multi-breed dog. Well, I can't say a while. I know the American Pit Bull Terrier won nationals. What was that? 2017. That was Marcus Middleton's dog. So that was the year that Samson won breed for the American Bully. But American Pit Bull Terrier won the breed. I want to say it was like 2017 or 2018. And then a few years before that, I want to say an English Bulldog won nationals. So, but majority of it has been the American Bully. Majority of it.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of people,
rightfully so, that they're such a badass breed.
I think a lot of people just assume the American Bully Registry, people are like, well, Bully's going to win because it's the Bully Registry. But and it's good to point out those examples and say, no, when the dog is exceptional, it doesn't matter what his breed is.
Yeah, no, if you've got a dog that can compete with the big dogs, then you've got just as fair of a shot as the American Bully does,
Yeah.
I'm a judge, and I'm a lover of the breed to begin with, American Bully and the Shorty Bull, French Bulldog, all of the breeds that we recognize. But Shorty Bull and American Bully, those are my breeds. But the Shorty Bull right now is where my breeding program is, and with Blaze, like he definitely has what it takes to stand with all of them. I wish he could have did this year's nationals. That would have been cool, but there's next year. There's next year, the year after. I mean, the dog's like a year and a half old, so we still got some time with him, and Kira's got a couple other up and comers that are going to be coming out the next year or two. So
yeah, I don't think anybody.
So we got the next couple years covered.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would blame you for saying, okay, we're gonna have to, I'm gonna do this. We have to take Blaze out because this is my opportunity to do this, the 20th anniversary. So I don't think anybody can blame you for that.
Yeah. I was worried. I had to ask Kira, like, I know Blaze is gonna do good. But here's the deal. I got a call and she's like, well, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big deal, And so I was like, all right, well, she was like, well, can we still run him for top dog? Do you have to stop showing him once you're announced, and I was like, I don't think that's gonna affect anything because he ain't gonna be there anyways. He can't show at nationals, so I think we're good. We're good to go. Kira, she's super competitive, and she wants to show her dog, and he's showable.
Right.
So he's gonna continue showing them. We're still gonna show Blaze, and we're gonna root for everyone at nationals this year. That's what Kira said. Her and Blaze are gonna be on the sidelines rooting for all the dogs. So,
well, he'll probably be with Dina then because she's obsessed with him. She loves him.
I lost you for a second, my brother.
I said if he's going to be on the sidelines, you hear me now?
Yeah.
I noticed we've for the last few minutes we've had a little bit of a delay, but hadn't been too bad. But I said no. If Blaze is going to be on the sidelines, I'm sure Dina will be right there, trying to pet him. She loves that.
Oh dog. Yeah, man. Dina loves that dog. Hit Blaze or Everly, like she's probably going to be at Kira's booth the whole time.
Yep. Now, I wanted to. Somebody had mentioned it earlier in the comments, and I wanted to bring that up. And we've had that discussion, and we're going to have next week. We're going to have an XL breeder on, so we're going to be talking to him about that a little bit. But I guess that's really a big point of contention is the XL and trying to get the XL to move in the direction of the pocket and the standard and looking like the breed. Are we seeing any progress in the department?
Really, like you're going in and out so much.
Oh, okay.
You're like choppy so much that I can't even get the question.
See if you can jump out and kind of jump back in, hit that link again, try to come out and come back in, see if that helps.
Okay, so leave and then come back in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me check my don't think it's me. Let me see here.
It's not even letting me leave, so it must be me.
Yeah, hold on a second here. Let me see if I can help with that part. All right, let's give him a second. Try to jump back in. I noticed there was a little bit of a delay, and that's why I was actually talking over him a couple times because there was such a delay between us. So hopefully he can quit out and jump back in. So let's give you guys an opportunity. I'll kind of go back through the comments here, and if anybody has any questions, obviously we'll try to get to them for sure. But I just checked my internet, and it's not me. I think I'm good. So hopefully it was him. Hello. And she's always trying to steer. Isn't that the truth? Always. She loves dogs. It doesn't even matter what kind of dog. We ended up with Frenchies, even though I was like, I want to concentrate on the American Bully. She wanted Frenchie, so we got those. And I have a feeling we're going to end up with 40 bulls. There we go. All right.
Got me.
I think you're good.
All right, cool. You hear me though?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, cool. I hear you now.
Yeah, we were just talking to Kiera about how she thinks Dina needs a shorty. I'm like,
I honestly think you guys do, man. We've got a couple of litters right now.
Oh, do you?
Joe's got a couple of litters right now, and we have some breedings coming up. Man, whenever you guys are ready, brother.
All right.
Whenever you guys are ready. I know that you guys are great dog people, so I definitely wouldn't mind something off of us going to you guys, bro. Like,
right.
We really just like our dogs going to the right people, and that's really it. Yeah. So I think that's why we have so many dogs, because there ain't too many right people out there these days.
This is true. Kara said, or she needs 10. I don't know about 10, but I don't know about 10.
For sure.
But what I was trying to ask you before we kind of lost, someone had mentioned in the comments earlier about the XL, and you know, there's been a push to try to get the XL to start looking like the American Bully. Where do you think that's where we're going to be able to go? Do you think we're going to be able to get that dog there? Is that community behind that move?
The XL community is I never knew how big that community was. Like, that community is huge, bro. It's probably as big as like the regular American Bully community. Like, that community is huge. There's XL breeders all over, and they don't even like they say it's an XL Bully. It's not an American, but they're like, no, this is an XL Bully. Like,
right.
Okay. And they're like, yeah, it's its own breed. So, as far as like, there is a few that I can name off the top of my head that actually look like, you know, the part. It's gonna take some time. It's just like with the standard and pocket, you know, it took a little bit of time. I remember way back when, as far as like pockets go, there was this dog. Man, it was a well-known dog, but dang it, I forgot his name. He was a little pocket. I saw him in Southern Cali at I want to say Glen Helen. It was a park where they used to have a lot of the ABKC shows back then. And it was in there like it was kicking ass and taking names, man. Wizard or man, I can't remember his name. I'll remember it though. And he had a king tail.
All right.
You know, so it was like people didn't even care that he had a tail that looked like a lightning bolt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have taken his tail and put it on this white dude right next to me and been like, hey, you know. But yeah, man, Gargoyle. I think his name was Gargoyle. Like, he was super cool looking, but he definitely didn't look like the pocket American Bullies of today, right? So, you know, that was like, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe less. So it's taken some time for us to get to where we are today. And now that the XL breeders within the American Bully Kennel Club community are pushing, you know, for, you know, a more correct XL, I believe we'll get there. But there are XL breeders out there in their own community that just want to go bigger. Right. You know what I mean? And continue to go bigger. And we all know that to get there the fastest, it's not really, it's a very questionable breeding, right? Because it takes time. It takes generations of, you know, breedings to even lock in a head.
Yeah.
You know, it might take 5 or 6 breedings to get that head locked in. And that's fast tracked. But you know, there has been questionable breedings where they got that size on like their first breeding or second breeding.
Right.
So there is that community out there that they don't care about conformation. They don't care about how it's supposed to look. They just want a bigger dog. And the bigger you get, the sloppier you get, you know. I've just noticed that with bigger dogs, the bigger they are, the sloppier they are.
Right.
And I've just noticed that over like my, I don't know, 30 years of breeding dogs, period, you know? So as far as them getting better, I think the ABKC American Bully breeder, XL breeders are getting there.
Right.
As far as like the XL community, I don't know how long it's going to take them. It's going to take a while.
Yeah. And a lot of them, you know, in the hard part, and we see this a little bit in the bully community too, is that you see people excel as a breeder as far as making money. And they're rewarded not because they fit the standard, but because they don't fit the standard. You know, that's that thing.
Yeah.
If you look at there's
different.
A lot of successful XL breeders out there, and their dogs certainly do not fit the standard, but they sell a shitload of dogs. They sell them to famous people, even, You know what I mean? So it's hard
because they're different. Yeah.
And it's hard.
That's how we were, you know?
Yeah. Good.
In the beginning of the American Bully, we were just different. We didn't look like that American Pit Bull Terrier. We didn't look like that American Staffordshire Terrier. We looked bigger and stronger. And that's what people wanted. That's why people spent the money that they did. And that's why, you know, the breed has grown. I mean, it has turned into a breed, right? So I feel like just being different, that's what the XL people want to do. You know, they want to continue to be able to sell their dogs. So they got to do some different stuff, I guess, you know.
And it takes,
at some point, you know, a lot of people get into this for the wrong reasons. And at some point that gravy train is gonna break down, and you're gonna feel it, and you're gonna be like, oh, I don't know if this breeding thing is for me, you know.
Yeah, and we see that ever since I've been in this breed. I think I've seen it every year. You know, people finally give up because they're not selling their dogs for $10,000 a piece, and they thought that they would. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see. I mean,
to go out and support this break. Okay, I was reading some of the comments down here. Yeah, so you know, and the only reason I ever mentioned that is because I've always been like an XL sympathizer. Like I've always liked that dog and saw the potential in that dog. And like, you know, like I don't want one. I just don't have room for one. But I'm cheering, but I'm rooting for that dog because I really like it. And I think one that fit breed type would be so impressive, would be so scary. You know what I mean? Like that is a massive.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you could really. The weird part is I looked at the stand. I remember looking at the standard and looking at pockets and saying, man, you cannot get a standard to be that ratio of a pocket. You're just not going to be able to do it. Right. And then here we are. And I'm like, in 24, I'm like, oh no, yes, we can. We can definitely.
You can. You definitely can.
So I know if we can get standards to the same ratio as a pocket, that we can definitely get the XL to the same ratio as the standard, you know, as far as that, the width and the head and everything. I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah. It's just going to it's going to boil down to the breeding, you know what I mean? The people that are breeding them, you know, just selective breeding has always been the way, you know, that you don't, you know, take, you know, this dog and just breed it to that dog, right? Like you research it and you know, like I like this dog, but I know that it's not going to work with this dog. So I'm not going to do that breeding. I'm going to go this way. Right. A lot of those breeders are just breeding because of the name and, you know, they'll hopefully be able to sell some puppies off of this dog. Right. And, you know, this dog is like 24 inches and weighs 200 pounds and has a 31-inch head, you know, but they're not talking to us about how sloppy the dog is, you know, looking like, you know, oversized Scooby-Doo, right? So, I think that XLs can get there. I've seen a few, and over the past few years, I've seen a few really good-looking XLs. I've seen a couple. I think I might have. Oh, man, you know what? No, I didn't. But I did give a XL a grand champion win in Europe. It was in Holland, I think, or the Netherlands, something like. I think Holland and Netherlands are the same thing, but it was in Europe. And then I throw shows, so I had a show last year here in California, and there was an XL that like blew through the champion class. Like he titled at my show and then blew through the champion class and became a grand at my show. So it was, you know, and he's a very nice, I think his name is Captain America or something like that. He was a super nice XL. So it can be done. I've actually seen a few dogs that are right there. It's just the breeders, man. They got to breed them. The XL breeders got to breed them.
Yeah.
So
Kira said you grand an XL female in Georgia.
I did that too. Yes. Yeah. I want to say, oh, man, I want to say it was Tristan's dog, or he was handling the dog for somebody. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say Tristan was, or within that group or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, if you have a question for me, just ask Kira. She can answer for you.
Yeah, I know how that goes. Trust me. People message me all the time.
She'll probably be able to answer it better than I can. That's for sure.
We'll have to bring her on next.
Yeah, for sure. Kira, yeah, good luck, man. She hates being on these podcasts and stuff. I'm not really good with words, man. That's my problem, and so
I try to make this like a little more laid back. So like no different than if we were just having a conversation.
Just sitting here conversing, right? That's why I like the way you have this set up. We're just kind of like going at it, There's no script, and I don't have to worry about the next question or whatnot. We're just kind of like going with the flow. I like that, man. That's cool.
And I know you're probably coming up close on time where your boy will be done with practice here. I think you said you had about an hour and a half. But I'm going to throw one more question at you, and it's going to be breeding related. But we, last couple of weeks we've been kind of talking about, how people should be tightly line breeding a little bit more, and when there's a proper time to outcross, and what the benefit or what you can lose if you outcross. And I just want to kind of get your opinion on, because you guys breed shorty bulls and you breed American bullies, kind of how do you approach your breedings?
Well, as far as like line breeding, I mean, you line breed because you feel like you have what your goal is already. You know what I mean? So that's why you line breed, or else why would you line breed? You need to pick from this blood, that blood, and then you get what you want. And then now I have what I want. I'm gonna breed this niece to this uncle, right? And then I'll breed something off of that to that niece's brother, and keep going. That's line breeding, right? So you feel like you're already where you need to be. Now the problem with line breeding and inbreeding, well, line breeding, is that you at some point are going to breed yourself into a corner, and then your stuff going to start getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Mm-hmm. So you have to go outside at some point to bring in a different blood to break that cycle, because it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. I know when we were breeding, we did a lot of line breeding. We did like cousin, aunt to nephew, grandfather to granddaughter. We did a lot of that type of breeding, and so we locked in our style of dog, which was the extreme, but our dogs were getting smaller and smaller. When we started out with like an 18-inch dog that was 105, 110 pounds, or a 17-inch dog that was 100 pounds. And then they started going to like 80 pounds and then 70 pounds. And then they were just so small that they weren't nothing like they were in the beginning. Right. So we had to go outside to grab size back. And, we had to go out to like Gaudy line stuff, because Gaudy line stuff had the size that we needed. When we first started, it was 75% edge and 25% Gaudy. By the time we needed to go back outside, it was like 250% West Coast bullies. You know what I mean? So it was like breeding, like brother and sister, cousin. Like our dogs just got so small. It's just the way breeding goes. If you continue to breed, the same blood over and over again, it's just going to get smaller and smaller. Right. So we had to go outside and we had some really crazy breedings when we went back out again. But by that time came around, everyone kind of got older, started having kids, and the kennel kind of went its separate ways, and there was really just me left, and I was judging more, so I stopped breeding, and was focused more on judging. And there was a couple of guys still left in West Coast Bullies, but they went that exotic route. So we actually had to put down the last of my stuff like 2 years ago, and he was like 15 years old. So but yeah, no, breeding, you have to go outside. You have to pick something up.
Yeah. And that was it took us kind of a minute to figure out what our plan was going to be. And I think that was one of the things, is when I finally determined what my plan was going to be, I realized that plan was going to take me years. It wasn't something I was going to do overnight. And that's even with me coming into a place where there were dogs that were already established, and I was able to use other people's dogs that were already established, and it was still going to take me a minute to put together, the components that I thought I wanted in a dog. So I feel like a lot of people just get the misconception that they're going to go buy 2 dogs and they're going to start producing an amazing dog overnight. Not saying it doesn't happen, because we've seen it, but for the vast majority of people, you are going to invest a good chunk of your life in doing it if you're dedicated.
Oh yeah. When they say blood, sweat, and tears, they mean it, man. Like you will, like you're gonna miss soccer games, football games. You're gonna miss out on camping trips. You're gonna miss out on family functions. Like you have a litter at home, you can't leave. You're gonna miss out on a lot when you start breeding dogs. Trust me. I think that's one of the big reasons why a lot of people started kennels out and having kennel partners. You know, so you can take a little bit of the load, and I can go enjoy life for a month, and then when I come back, you can go enjoy life for a month. I feel like that's what kennel partners were all made for,
Yeah.
So
I haven't had a vacation.
So yeah.
So
yeah. So luckily for me, and Kira, she shows dogs, and I judge dog shows. So we're able to take like little itty bitty mini vacations here and there,
Yeah.
We get that. We get to go. I've done shows in Columbus, and my wife and her husband, they were stationed out in Alabama, like right on the border. So we and spend a day or two with them on occasion. And I've been back home to Guam. I've been to I used to live in Hawaii, but I've been to Hawaii, and those are places where I have family. So we got lucky with that. But if we weren't involved in the dogs the way we are, we'd be stuck at home. I'd probably have all gray hair everywhere. So I got all these kids and all these dogs, man. So it's definitely not meant for the weak. Make sure you have a good job too that pays well, because you're going to be spending a lot of money on dog food and puppy pads and dog dishes, because those get tore up easily, kennels and crates and all that good stuff.
Alex Ferraro said, "You are all gray."
Yeah, I am, brother. I'm like 20 years older than you, so no, I think Alex is still young, but that's my brother. That's my brother from another man.
That's right,
Alex and Devin over there in Kansas. So
again, I was lucky to be able to have him on too. We've been really lucky to have some amazing people come on, and you no exception. Obviously, I was happy to have you to come on and get to talk to you. But there are people that have longevity in the breed, like yourself, that people that haven't been in the breed long need to hear from. They need to understand not only the history of the breed, but the amount of dedication that's required. I don't think it's portrayed to people enough when they buy their first dog. They they don't really have a solid understanding of the investment.
Yeah, man. When you buy that first dog, you don't realize that you just signed your life away. You know, I like I said, I've been involved with these dogs for so long, bro. It's weird to say that over a quarter of a century, right? And I'm only half a century old, right? So, you know, it's crazy to even say that and then think about it at the same time. The dogs take up my whole life. So anyone aspiring to be a breeder, like, be ready. Yeah. And be sure that you're doing it for the right things, because you're not getting rich off of this. That's for damn sure.
Yes, this is true. This is true. Christian Yoder, there is never just one. And that's true. I can't remember how long it was. I think it was only a couple of months. We bought our first one, and it was just like a couple of months. The second one showed up. A couple of months. Another one shows up. So, Alex.
And then it just didn't stop.
I don't know if you can see the comments or not, but I just put one up there. Alex Ferraro said, I just want to put it out there that John is one of my mentors. He's an OG for real. So many people don't know how long he has been in the breed and in ABKC from day one. This man is the definition of a dog man and a family man.
Oh, right on, brother. I don't really care to, you know, for everyone to like be like, hey, John this, John that. Like, yeah, that doesn't bother me, you know.
Right.
I like it when people say Blaze, 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 right?
Yeah, right.
You know?
That's right.
But yeah, man, you know, I'm always ready to, you know, talk dogs, and you know, just help out, whatnot. I like being there to help, you know.
Right.
Gosh, man, there was a guy, there was a dog in Jacksonville. It was like, I think it was like their first Jacksonville show. I mean, this dog was getting ready to check out, and everyone's like, you know, throwing water on top of him, and you know, he was at the point where alcohol in his pads and under his arms weren't going to help him. And I seen this dog, and I was like, bro, give me your cup. You know, he was like, what do you need my cup for? I was like, do you have ice still in there? He was like, yeah, it's just ice left. I'm like, cool, give me your cup. So I grabbed his cup and I started shoving ice up the old poker, you know, up the rear end. And people were like looking at me, what are you doing? You know, and I'm like, man, we need to cool his core down, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I like. I mean, it's unfortunate how I have to show people this knowledge, but you know, I just want to be there to help out, you know?
Right.
I feel like if that didn't happen, man, that dog would have checked out within like the next 5 minutes or something. So
now, we have
the dude comes to me the next year for Jacksonville. It was like, hey man, I don't know if you remember me, but I had that try dog, man. You saved my dog's life, this and that, and I just want you to know I really appreciate you. And I was like, well, do you remember what I did? He was like, it was nasty, but I remember exactly what you did. I was like, well, as long as you remember what I did, man, that's.
Oh no, we lost to begin. Hopefully he'll jump back in. I did have some YouTube questions I wanted to throw at him. Let's see if he comes back. But I knew he was getting about time where I think practice was almost over. So let's see if he does jump back in. We'll give him just a minute. There he is. And there you are.
I'm trying to.
Probably got a little instability connection there a little bit. Not too bad, though.
I don't know what happened, brother.
Yeah, no big deal. Hey, we're going to throw this one question at you that came from YouTube. And then we're going to let you go because I know you got things to do. But this guy, Chuck, threw it out there, and he said, hopefully you can offer some advice. He said, what advice would you give to those that have been breeding heavy corrupt blood today? Like someone still breeding that corrupt
blood.
Man,
you got corrupt blood? I can't believe you still got corrupt blood. I actually... that blood goes really well with the I hate to say this, but the bully market stuff, man.
Right.
Any of that blood, that blood actually goes really well with corrupt blood. And chaos blood too. Chaos blood goes really well with corrupt blood.
There you go.
So those are some of the blood that's still floating around. Corrupt blood isn't really out there anymore. But the blood that I had really good results with would be that bully market stuff and chaos stuff.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, you know what? I appreciate you coming on. I've had an amazing evening just cutting it up with you a little bit and kind of talking to you.
Yeah, definitely, brother. I appreciate you.
I know
I had a good time. I just want to say one last time, everyone that's going to be at Nationals this year, bring your dogs and be ready. Have them groomed, have them, prepared for loud noises and whatnot. I want to have a good selection of dogs out there, and I don't want to be sitting there nitpicking over nails and stuff like that.
Right. And hopefully you don't might lose you again. Might not. Let's see. I think he locked up.
Breaking up there again, brother.
Okay, one last thing. Tell everybody where.
We'll probably just go ahead and cut it short. And
right. Where can
thank you for having me on.
Can you hear me? No. Okay. We're good.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it.
Say hi. Say bye to Miss Dina for me.
I will.
Hopefully see you guys soon.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, brother. All right.
All right. Looks like we were having a little cellular connection issue there at the end, but I think it was a great show. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and tune in next week. We're going to have an XL breeder on, and he is a pretty prominent YouTuber, I guess you could say. So we want to talk to him a little bit about how he built that and, what he thinks about the XL and kind of his opinions on the movement of the XL or where the XL is going. But that's it for now. Hey, I appreciate you guys. As always, if you wouldn't mind, give us a like, give us a share, subscribe on YouTube. If you would, we're trying to build that audience over there on YouTube for sure. All right, guys. See you next time.